Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we're taking a look at ANALOGySTR by Rob Jackson. So stick around. You're going to be learning with me. So, hello. Welcome to the show. My name is Jade, and of course, this is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. Well, if you're watching this for the app review, you're probably going to have to skip forward maybe about 10 minutes. So bear with me. Sometimes some things have to be discussed before we get into things. And, well, yesterday was a day. Let's just say that. You may hear it or you may not. The sound's a little bit different here in the studio, mainly because, well, there's no carpet in here anymore. And that's for a very good reason. As yesterday, 94 litres of water emptied into this studio, and things were looking pretty damn bleak. My washing machine decided to overflow and empty the entire contents of the water from the laundry, which ran out from the bathroom behind me into the studio, which pulled all into this room. And it was pretty bad. I was sitting there watching Russ's interview on the community polls, and all of a sudden my internet went out, and which, you know, sometimes it goes out, and you think, oh, I'll just go check the router. And as I turned from my lounge room to look up the hallway, well, it wasn't a pleasant sight what I saw. It was pretty fucking bleak, to be honest. This is pretty much what I saw. From my point of view, the water everywhere. Now, it doesn't look like a lot, but it's hard to tell with photos, of course. And as I walked through the house, this thing had come off the washing machine, which goes into the sink, and had emptied the entire fucking washing machine into, basically into this little hallway here. Yeah, that's my sock that was soaking wet as I'd been walking through the water. And then it ran through and into the door, which is over here. And you can see the fish tank just there. I literally thought the fish tank had exploded. That was my first thought. And all this, that's all water. Power supplies are on the floor. It was a bit of a mess in there. And all the carpets ruined. You can see the water there. It was pretty full on. There's the bathroom water all through the whole fucking house. It was not through the whole house, through the first half of the house. My bedroom as well. So I had to then get in there, and thankfully the carpet did help soak up some. And thankfully, I can't stress enough, folks, if you're going to build a studio or you're going to have some kind of important room in your house, buy power strips that have safety switches, that have surge protection. And luckily, I had that. And luckily, the power board that was over in the corner over there, that was on the floor, which powers the LED lights and the LED lights over here, that was the first thing that got tripped. So before anything else in here, at this end of the studio, luckily that tripped everything, which turned off my mains power. The safety switch went off. So it's pretty important to have surge protection, yeah? And yeah, I walked in here and everything was off, and even the power supply for my Rodecaster was on the floor. The power supply for my laptop was on the floor. So yeah, it was pretty scary. And the real estate agent, amazing people they are, they came out here and I got everything really clean. I busted my ass. Let's just tell you this too, not a really good position to be in when you've just found out the day before that you have had a heart attack and you need to have a stent put in your heart. So being one person trying to clean all of this up, because here's the deal, these floorboards, these are vinyl floorboards. They're floating floorboards. If you know how they work, floating floorboards, they kind of float. Yeah. So, and the problem now is that there's water under there. So unfortunately, there's probably going to be a break in scheduling coming up on the channel maybe next week, maybe for a few days. We don't know yet. They're coming out here on Monday to assess. The insurance is covering it, but they will have to lift all the floorboards up in this room, the hallway, half the hallway, and my bedroom. Because if they leave it, there's going to be mold. And that's a bigger problem because then I'll get sick, and that's a whole nother problem, right? I want to thank, firstly, my dear friends, Ali, Brad Example, Jenny Jolivet, and Leela, who sat on Clubhouse with me as I had a complete and utter meltdown, crying uncontrollably and struggling to be able to do any of this because, you know, the real estate agent was like, hey, you just use all your towels. And I'm like, I live by myself. I only have 4 towels. So very quickly, the towel situation was gone and I was using bed linen. Oh my Lord. It was a day to remember. Let's say that. And unfortunately, you know, I had to then, I can't use the boards again. I'll be able to use them at some stage, but not in here. Not in here. So I had to go out yesterday and spend $200 on a new collection of very expensive Surge flower boards. But everything's working. Everything's good. Everything's safe. We got through it. Got a little bit more echo in here than normal. But I can't stress enough to just think ahead. Don't buy cheap power strips, right? It's especially for parts of your house that are very important. It's a PSA, and we're going to talk about that maybe on the rant this week. Okay, so that's out the way. I'm hoping that there's no excess on top of the cost it's going to cost to fix this because I may have to pay it. That's not something I want. Luckily, too, in the garage, there are like 3 or 4 boxes of tiles already there. So they thought ahead and there's replacements. So, and the insurance is already hopefully going to cover it. So, yeah. But small wonders. You know, you got to be thankful at the end of it that we're still here. Everything's still okay. So there's that. I want to also say happy birthday to my dear friend Brad Example, who turns 23, I think, today. It's a great achievement. We all thought he'd be dead by 20. So there you go. Happy birthday to Brad Example. Feel free to wish Brad happy birthday in the chat. You made it, Brad. We didn't think you'd get to 23, but here you are. So good stuff there. I want to address something else before we get in. I did say 10 minutes, so if you're watching this on the replay, just skip ahead, right? Not much longer to go because yesterday Apple finally pulled the trigger on iOS 26. Now, for those of you who are a little bit confused and don't sit there in the world of iOS all the time and know why your iOS is suddenly jumping from 18 to 26, well, we're here to tell you that. Back in midway through the year, Apple did an event where they explained all of their operating systems like the watch, the Mac, iPad, all of these things had different numbers. And they decided to bring everything all together and they chose the number 26. You're not missing out on anything in between. It is a jump from 18.7 to 26. Now, if you are a creator, me and Pete John say this all the time, every year, and you're in the middle of a project, you've got things going on, don't update. Some of your apps may stop working that you are relying on at the moment. If you're just a casual user who are just using your phone and just, making phone calls and texts and browsing and searching and playing some games and stuff, I think you're going to be safe. Maybe wait for the 26.0.1 just to let the first initial downloaders grab it first, and because there will always be bugs. You can be like Brad too and be halfway through your Songtember project and just install iOS 26 without just ignoring the warnings. and it may work out for you. But if you, there is still an update for iOS 18.7. If you want to grab that, that'll keep you on 18. But if you want to go up, there's a little option here to go over 26. It looks like it is a 13 gigabyte update. Wow. Incredible update. It is the worst thing, Mixed Club. The worst feeling in the world. But yeah, just protect your shit, guys. Like, it's so important. In my old house, I wasn't using surge protecting stuff. So, you know, shit could have been a lot worse if I kept those power strips. But when I moved in here, I spent the money. I spent the $200 to make sure. And it's worthwhile, right? Especially when it's your livelihood or anything like that, something that you're using every day, earns you money, or just keeps you sane in a world that's full of insanity at this point. So, yeah. And this week's rant will be on that. I've got a members stream happening today. I was going to be working on music. Instead, I'm just going to chill and hang out for a little bit with you. If you want to come and join the member stream, if you remember, you can join by clicking the join button if you're on desktop, or there's a link in the description, and you can come and hang out and hear what went down and stuff like that, and some cool stuff that's coming up on the channel. Let's say hello to you all. Let's get into this app. Now, I need to say thank you also, Forrester the Wolf, people who reached out to me last night. Thank you so much. Hi, Forrester the Wolf. Leela's here. We got Ali, Doug Kidder, g'day. Thomas is doing the links. Thanks, Thomas, you rock. So super stickers, all that stuff. G'day to Mix Club and Denise. Yeah, if you want to join the members, there's a link there. Who else have we got in the house? Jamie Lynn. I hope that answered your questions about iOS 26. Yeah, fuck the water shit, man. It's the worst. You know, I've been having nightmares for ages that fish tank is going to explode. And I'm going to walk in here one day and there's water everywhere. I don't know why I keep thinking that's going to happen. And it wasn't that. I really thought it was that when I saw the water. I was like, man. Then I looked and went, that's a lot of water. That doesn't look like the amount of water that's in that fish tank, because that would have sure done some damage, but nowhere near as much as 94 litres. Anyway, let's not dwell on drama. Hello, Tremor Bear. Nobody likes drama. It's depressing. It's sad, and I try not to do this stuff, but here we are. I'm just keeping you guys informed. Right, Russ, hello. Russ is wishing happy birthday. Great interview with Russ yesterday on the community pulse. I finally got to sit back and watch it last night after all this shit went down. Fucking 8 hours of this shit, Jesus. Dell, good to see you. Have I got everybody? I think I've got most of you, and we'll get into this app. I need to explain first, because of yesterday and all the drama, I would normally spend yesterday figuring out how to use the app that I'm doing today. I didn't get a chance to do that. So guess what, folks? You're going to be learning with me as I figure out how to use this app. Thankfully, it's an app by our friend Rob Jackson, who makes incredibly easy to understand apps, extremely cheap, and it shouldn't be a problem. And if you can see me work it out right before your eyes, hopefully that helps as well. G'day, Dimebag. There is Rob. I have no idea how it works. No idea how it works, though. All right, awesome. Well, yeah, as I've explained, mate, when your entire studio floods with water, there's no time to sit and learn an app. I'm just thankful this is all working, because yesterday things were looking pretty bad. All right, let's get into it. We are ready to go. Firstly, this app is available in the iOS App Store. It works on your Mac, it works on your iPad and iPhone, all for the one price of a ridiculous $2.99. What is it? Well, it is a string app. It's based on the wonderful string synthesizers of the 1970s. Hello, Greg O'Sullivan. I see you there. Famous sounds. Now, this isn't like a clone or anything like that. It's not some kind of endorsed thing. It's not a rip-off or anything like that. This is from the bizarre mind of Rob Jackson. So it's got its own little flavors and stuff like that in there. I don't even know, because I haven't read all the manual, and I'm sure there's lots of little things that are cute and going on under the hood. That's what she said. Hugh Caldwell, hello. But yeah, it's $3, and I've had a play with it a little bit, and it sounds delicious. I don't have a project set up, so we're just going to jump straight in today. It is what it is. Sometimes I like doing these shows where I've hardly played with something and I'm discovering it live. Sometimes it feels, genuine. Like when when you hear how good something sounds. So it is an AUV3 plugin. You can throw it in Logic or wherever. Let's show the wonderful interface, which I find, there's people who may look at this and go, it's a little bit boring. I'm sure Rob's heard this before, but at the same time, hey, you are trading off, right? You are trading off the high-end work that it takes to create these mental interfaces that really just look fancy. Hey, we've all had that person we've met at a nightclub and they looked great when you got them home. Oh, man. What have I done? So, looks can be deceiving, I guess. Right? Let's get into it. Well, that sounded nice, didn't it? All right. I guess we got plenty to talk about here. This looks a little bit different to Rob's normal apps. Shelley, I hope you're doing well. I see you there. So it looks a little bit different. We got tabs across the top, like with all of Rob's apps. Now you can resize these. I don't really talk about this too, but see how I've got this set up here. So the resizing kind of works like this. As the larger you get it, the more it kind of sits in the middle. But then you set it to somewhere like this and you've got everything without that border. You can resize to like crazy sections like this. So resizing is pretty good with it. All of his apps are like this. Yeah. You might want to go down a little bit, stretch it out. Up to you. We're just going to leave it in full screen for this. Controls across the top. Normally with Rob's apps, hey, Ed Zielinski, good to see you. Normally with this, Rob's apps, you've got controls, presets, help, default, but he's split it up this time because the effects are normally on the same page. But this time we've got effects split over here and controls over here. Now, I'm only assuming because I haven't read anything about this or read the help document. We've got an ensemble in here, which you would find with these string apps. Yeah, that's what gives it its wide ensemble-y kind of sound and just instead of like a single kind of string. But also his phaser is in here as well, the distant cousin of Faisal, everyone's favorite retiree. And we've got a reverb down here as well too. So these are on different pages. And up the top here, things are pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure he's going to point out to me while we're going that there are some little things under the hood that are sneaking around. You do have some presets, so we'll run through the presets as well. And we've got a help document, which I should have read. It was like, let's just go. Why not? You've got a default setting up here. So if you tap this, it's going to bring everything back to the default settings and a randomize. Isn't that interesting, that one? I'm just randomizing. So you're probably saying to yourself, well, what are the benefits of this? I've got heaps of string machine apps. Here's 2 of them I can just throw off the bat. A, really cheap. B, DSP, fucking not a lot. Yeah. So compared to something that is probably full of samples and, it's 800 megabytes to download or whatever to try and recreate the past glory. I don't even know what is the size of the download for this? We can have a look. Where do I find it on here? Does it say, if I open up in the App Store, we can do that. I always forget how to open it on the App Store from here. There we go. No, that's not right. We want to go App Store, iTunes. Just take me there. We'll do a search here. ANALOGySTR. And 10, there you go, 10 megabytes, right? That equals a 10-minute MP3 of a song. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. No samples, a little bit of extra CPU just for the poly. Yeah, so that's how it works too. So if the more keys, remember, DSP doesn't always depend on the how many samples are in there. It depends on how many keys you play, right? Every time you add another note, you are adding polyphonic sounds to it. And these notes add up. Just think of it like, you're adding something else, The more notes you play, 10, you go crazy. It's going to work like that, right? You get the idea. You know what I'm talking about, something like that. So let's go through these controls. We got a sub in here. I'm just going to hit default. Hello, country walking. Good to see you. All right. We've got a default sound here. The first dial up here is a sub. Let's just turn it up all the way and see what it does. Ooh. So that definitely fills things out there. I think you would agree with our sub. Strings is our next dial. I'm going to double tap up there. Does that work, double tap? No, we'll just take it back to 0. Yeah, double tap, and it's going to bring it back as you remember it from the beginning. String sets a level of voice pitch according to the notes that you play. So let's... it's funny, Rob. I have open on this iPad right here. I've got another copy of the app open with the manual. You got to cheat somehow when you're in this situation. So these are already, it just sounds beautiful. Nice sounds, and no effects or anything on here yet. And that's when these strings, I think, in my opinion, they really start to shine with the old string machine kind of thing. Cello, viola, violin. There you go. There's the string machines. If you're not aware, these things have been used by Pink Floyd and so many different artists, big artists around the world. It's just a stock standard, yeah? So we've got an octave, it looks like, sets the level for a voice 1 octave above the notes you play. The voice has a brighter, thinner character compared to the other 2. Vibrato, I think we all know what vibrato does. So it looks like the vibrato sets the rate of depth and vibrato pitch modulation effect applied to each note. This also follows the ASR envelope, which is down below your attack, sustain, and release. I apologize, as always, for my terrible playing on keys. I know nothing. If we pull the attack down with our ASR, you're going to get that instant. Yep. Or if you're going to pull that attack up, of course, you're going to get that pad slowly fading in string sound. And of course, our sustain does what it does. It sustains. Right? And you've got your release, of course. So when I let go of the keys, that release is eventually going to release the higher you put that up. Always working in percentages. We bring that back down to 50. The other one's still running from before. Don't you love that? That's a fair bit of release going on there. Listen, it's still going. Fuck me. Forever. Really nice. Nice to know that it's not samples or anything like that because, as I said, DSP is nice and kind. Where are we? Low cut and high cut. Yes, indeed, underneath here. I'm just making sure there's no... So low cut, of course, you're going to get a... thinner kind of sound, yeah? We take that cut out of there. Geez, that sounds warm, doesn't it? That sounds delicious. High cut is the opposite, of course, right? Normally, these would cancel out each other, but that's not the case. But yeah, so you've got your low cut. And down below, you've got your overall volume for everything, yeah? So you want to bring that up a little bit. Nice. You've set the frequency ranges so they don't overlap. That's nice because, you know, I've seen people totally just cut and then there's no sound playing. Nice. Effects. We've got our ensemble. So ensemble, this is off at the moment and we can turn this to mono or stereo. We'll start with stereo. Oh, hello. Hello, Tootsie. What's going on there? Woo. Damn. Well, fuck me. Damn. Feels like a whole orchestra just walked in. So that's the stereo. Really boosted up. I can't see myself ever using anything else but the stereo. So we can take the depth down of this as well. Which brings it back, I'm sure, kind of to mono. Oh! Wow, fancy pants, huh? Fancy pants. So I'm just trying to... Man, old iPads are so terrible to use. Depth sets the depth of the ensemble effect. Moo Cow. Hello, Moo Cow. Good to see you. And the mix, of course, is going to control how much of that is in here. I like 100%. Oh. Oh, nice. And remember, we've got Faisal's distant cousin here, Phaser. She's called in. We'll do the mono as well, so you can hear. Over to stereo. Oh. That's pretty delicious. So we've got a phaser here as well too, with your typical phasery things. You've got, obviously, it's a modulator, so you've got your depth and your rate. Let's turn it off. I'm going to take some of that mix out of the ensemble. We'll bring in this modulation on stereo. Let's take it up full blast. We'll introduce 5 hertz on the rate. That's absolutely how my brain felt yesterday as I was desperately trying to soak up 94 litres of water. Fucking hell. We've got some depth in here. Wow. You got to admit, Rob makes it very hard to resist these apps at what, $3 tops? $3. Go away. Get out of here. Sit in the corner. We've reached our halfway point. I'm going to do this. We do our ad. Let's come back over here. I get a chance to tell you what's coming up on this week's channel because I haven't had a chance and I was looking touch and go that anything was going to happen this week. So you may or may not get an ad. The ad's been run. We do that to make sure everyone gets an ad at the same time, but you may not get it. Who knows? YouTube. Let me tell you what's happening without showing endless photos of water in my Photos app, which is just there. Tomorrow, I forget what are we doing tomorrow on the show? Oh yeah, we're taking a look at, get it right, this one. We're taking a look at this. DRC is an amazing synth, and I've got 4 brand new packs that I've fallen behind with, and this is the first one we'll be taking a look at tomorrow. It's Pop Essentials. They're pretty cool, these packs for DRC, so we'll take a look at that, my friends. That's Thursday, yep, all right. So, and that means that our interview this week is pretty exciting because this lovely lady here, her name is Kionra. She's a really cool musician who's really just taken up music over the last few years, and she's been doing Songtember every year. Over on her channel, she shows the process of her learning how to use a DAW and everything, basically from scratch. She's a singer her whole life, and we're going to have her on. She's from Adelaide, Western Australia, here in Australia. So that is our interview this week, and I think we're wrapping up, if my memory serves me correct, with, oh yeah. Elastic OSC has had a major update, introduced some DX7 sounds and the ability to import DX7 sounds from external sources. So we'll take a look at that. And of course, all the usual bizzo of the creative hour on the weekend of hopefully finishing my Songtember stuff. I don't know how that's going to go because I may have the studio in the lounge room for a week. I don't know. And the soundproofing in here is not that good without the carpet, so I got to record vocals. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll end up recording my vocals in my bedroom and just go old school. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You push through. Let's get back to these awesome sounds, and we're about to add some reverb and really turn this up a level. So we know the flange is good. We've got a mono flanger as well, so you can have a combination of stuff going on. So a stereo ensemble. And then up the middle, a mono flange going on. That's what she said. Right, so options are plenty there. We'll just double tap and bring everything back. Did I say hi to Trimmer Bear? I think so. All right, but last but not least, in our effects section here, well, of course, we've got a reverb. And let's just turn it on to stereo and look at that. Did you hear that? Remnants! Oh, mama! Praise Jesus! We can decide the size of this by our size dial. That's what she said. Bang! So, not as big there. Yeah, you know what, Semtex? I think most of us probably should just buy this just for the chance to imagine what that's going to sound like. Doesn't exist anyway. It's all good. Right. Or maybe it does. Who knows? I'm not here to talk about that. But here, we can go fully large as well. Big reverb. And we've got a mix dial here. So we can make it all bloody reverb. Now it is a plate reverb, in case you were wondering. All right, so the Rob Jackson spin on a plate reverb. Well, God knows what that means, but we're all probably going to get in trouble for it. It's something bizarre because that's just Rob, and that's why we love him. So, you know, you're probably not going to need a mix that crazy. Or you may do. Let's turn these two off, the ensemble, and just go for a mono reverb. Back to our stereo, bring everything back on. What do I say? It's $3. All I can say is if you are a Patreon, as always, Rob has donated some giveaways, as I'm ever so thankful for developers for doing that, because the way it works is, you know, I don't ask for money from developers or anything. I ask for a code, and, you know, I may or may not cover the app. And I normally just ask for a few codes to give away to the people who support me financially, which my Patreons, which I love dearly. Let's go through some presets. We've got Sunlight Strings. Beautiful. Transistor organ. I'll let that ring out. Everyone at the circus, we all feel good, yeah. We've got a mellow choir. Oh, I could have done with this yesterday on my hands and knees, hoping this water will fuck off and let me go back and watch the community pulse and see my friend Russ. And Frank Terzo reading out 1,000,001 songs released this week. But I didn't see it. Anyway, FM Synth 80s Bells. Oh, I've got Whitney Houston running through my blood right now. I can feel it. An epic Whitney Houston track. Oh, beautiful. No, that's a really nice sound. Delicate, spacey strings. Hopefully not Kevin Spacey. I want to dance with somebody. Yes, I want to feel the heat with somebody. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Wow. This, you know what this sound reminds me of? Very David Lynch, Twin Peaks. The black dog walks at night. This could be straight out of the Twin Peaks soundtrack. Bit of Julie Cruz over the top, screaming her nuts off. She doesn't have nuts. I shouldn't say things like that. There are people out there who will be like, she's a man. Everyone's a man. Everyone's trans. Kill them all. This is called Thin and Crisp. And we've got, what do we got here? Hugely atmospheric. I'll tell you what I do love. And a lot of people complain about this. You'll notice when I flick between presets, there's no jarring noise. The tail of that sound continues on. See how I change between the two? This is one of the advantages of having a really low intensive interface, I would suggest. I don't know, I'm not a developer, but you know, there's a price you pay for those little pretty things sometimes. Trust me, I've dated lots of them. Very swirly, swirly, big stuff. G'day, Pete. Bright and swirly swell. So yeah, don't get too weighed down and think this is just like a an organy big choral church thing. As you can tell, that ADSR allows you to create things like bells and that kind of stuff. So you got options, right? Big swell, big dark swell for this one. Shall we? So there you go. That's pretty much it there. That's I think most of the stuff you need. Your presets, you got your help, randomizers down the bottom here as well. So you got 2 places to randomize if that's how you prefer to go. I think you get it. If I can sit here and not have looked at anything to do with this, then you can pick it up as well. Not a problem. What does it say here? MIDI implementation. A 16 voice, somewhat velocity sensitive MIDI instrument, and is playable over a keyboard from A0 to C7. Also responds to the mod wheel. Right? That's just extra stuff that's in the help. But let's throw, of course, something like scalar in here just to create some nice chords, because the chords I've been providing you have made no sense whatsoever. And that's okay. That's what music's about, isn't it? So we'll choose one of these songs in here. I'm sure there's like something a bit cinematic, maybe. Movie themes. Let's do Noir, to stick with that whole Twin Peaksy thing. Where was that Twin Peaksy one? Which one was it? Was it the Mellow Choir? That's what it was. Pretty sure. Ooh, deep. Now, if you didn't know here, you can come into something like Scalar and select these and then head over to the sequencer and you can lift them all up together an octave, right? So you can just select individual ones as well. So if we loop this now, we can slow this down a little bit too, make it like 8 beats. We got a few minutes to mess about. I didn't get to make a project today, so let's come into Pop Drummer, which we looked at yesterday. We'll do a half time. Let's see what we got up here. So like a half time 8th pulse. And what we'll do, we'll come into the attack in here. Let's cut the attack down a little bit. There we go. Oh, hey, Chem. Okay, what is going on? Chem's got a new app on the way, folks. And is it fucking nice? It sure is. Good to see you, Chem. What are we going to throw in here? Maybe like a Mariana. And what I'm going to do is another cool thing you can do with something like Scalar. There's ways you can link these. I'm just going to copy, hit select, create a new node, and just paste this in here. Oh, did I not copy it? Copy, move here. Oh, no. What am I doing? What have I done? We'll do this. Select. And we got to copy here, copy here. Now, what it has done though, it's created the same. So you'll end up with two of these. So you got to uncheck and send this to Mariana. And now what I'm going to do is click the Performance tab and give a drop down, and we're going to choose a bass line. Right? This is a really easy way to create a simple bass line, common bass. Keep it simple, just even like a basic 2. Any subs? Ooh, that's nice. And because we can create some chimey kind of stuff as well, and we don't need to have so much attack. What else we got here? Right, let's use one of Chem's apps. What key are we in? What are we doing here? So we are a D-altered scale. Fuck. Okay. Is there any of those in Chem's apps? Fucking I have no idea. D-altered. What's D-altered? Maybe. Oh, it's in here. Of course it's in here. It's fucking Chem. Right. Look at that. How good's that? On your Chem, you rock. So, we'll throw in another one of these analogies. Chem. Legend. And we'll go for one of these presets. What was it? It was like this this bell one. Nice. Sounded pretty good. Don't think I can do much more to make it any better myself. D. Wicked. Alrighty. So that is Analog STR by Rob Jackson. Ridiculously low price of $2.99 on the iOS App Store. It works for iPad, iPhone, and on your Mac. So never fear, the Mac is included with all of Rob's apps. He's got a whole bunch of other great apps that you can choose from. Same with this guy, K. Another awesome developer who makes great apps. So there you go. All right, if you remember, we'll be back in about an hour. I'm going to dump you next over to Thomas Christ, where he is continuing to work on his collab with Dan. I nearly said Dan Aykroyd. Dan Ekberg. Where they are going to be wrapping up their track over the next hour. So hopefully you'll go over and join Thomas and support him. Thank you all for hanging out here in the live chat. If you're watching on the replay, thank you to the like and all the stuff, all the things that make, YouTube do their whatever they do. I don't know what they do anymore. DJ Big Red, good to see you, mate. I didn't even know you were there. All right, the Jazz Improv, yeah. Whatever. Look, it's a good app. Go get it. What can I say? It's $3. You can't even get a coffee for that these days. Leanie, what's happening? Hello to you. Man, you can barely get a coffee in this fucking country for under $7. It's ridiculous. Hi, Dom. All right, I'm out. I'll say goodbye from my very echoey studio that yesterday was full of 94 litres of water. But here we are without any carpet. And, we got through it. Everything's working. All right. Remember, buy power strips that have surge protection. Saved my life. All right. Over to Thomas. Let's Happy birthday, Brad.